Plot or story? Which one are you writing? Knowing the difference will make you a better writer, because the distinction between plot and story helps your thinking. It's important to not use plot and story as interchangeable synonyms. So let's hit it. What is plot and what is story? Plot is usually known as a novel or screenplay's main structural element. Plot contains everything that happens in the desired order. Here are the major elements common to plot and story. Each one is a question you must answer to first hook the reader and lead them to a satisfying ending. Who, what, where, why, how, and when. For example, when controls the past and future setting of your story world, and who helps create your set of characters. But which of these elements most belong to plot and which most belong to story? There are 4 types of conflict in most fiction. Authors usually focus on one primary conflict, such as character versus character. In literature, as in life, characters might also face social boundaries or their own inner demons. This can create side plots and can influence the central plot toward its final resolution. Plot elements do not act on their own. Generally, plot elements are events which characters bring about. But why do we even have story? Culturally, story is vital because you realize that someone else's experience might save your butt. Story is how your protagonist tries to master a tough challenge. Will she be able? All that doubt is scary, but her actions guide what you might do in the same situation. Most importantly, story reveals how a character changes in order to face a challenge. She might need stronger muscles, or she might need to learn a skill or change her attitude. Story lessons are how to live in the world. Okay, here's how to separate what, where, who, why, when, and how into elements of plot. Your plot must answer 5 key questions. A plot is therefore a skeleton, a list of events. Plot diagrams can be almost any kind of list. Plot points can be moved around at will to shape pacing and build surprise. There's only one left. So, what's the most important question which drives how your character takes action? Why? So a plot is the sequence of events qualified by who, what, where, when, and how, while story is all about why. Plot on its own can be intriguing, but I feel the human dimension is more interesting because it sums up how we as people might decide to handle a situation. In the emotional arena, the why question contains every reason we read a book or see a movie. In both plot and story, the protagonist has a goal, and how she changes is what the story is about. And when she changes what is true for her, such as a big lie or a past wound, it hooks us like a trout. It grabs us because we see a problem we ourselves might face, and we're dying to know how she's going to handle it. The most vivid stories show a character overcoming an inner problem in order to solve an external one, such as a young boy who must learn courage, or boxing, or the force, to prepare himself for the really big battle to come. The separation must be clear, because story is not about any element of plot. Where story happens and how it happens are strictly matters of genre. What a story teaches about the ways of life is the theme of the story. It is guidance for how to behave in the world. The theme is the point the writer wants to make, such as species will kill themselves off through more advanced technology, as in Forbidden Planet, or people must confront their fears, as in the Harry Potter stories. Theme is one reason we find joy and satisfaction from a good story. It surprises us about what the world is. I have to give credit here to author Lisa Cron and her book Wired for Story. She tells us about breakthroughs in neuroscience which reveal that our brains are hardwired to respond to story. Writers can change the way we collectively think simply by providing a well-crafted glimpse of life through their characters' eyes. As a writer, this gives you enormous power. According to Lisa Cron, we grow up thinking in story. It's a universal motif of language. If you ask someone what they thought of the original Star Wars, and they talk about the exploding Death Star, lightsaber fights, and X-Wing space battles, they did not get the story. If you ask someone what they thought about Star Wars, and they say, "Oh, it was touching. A young man loses both parents and vows revenge, but first he must overcome his fear and then learn to use the Force to do battle with the evil that threatens life in the galaxy," then you'll know they heard the story in Star Wars. The text of this talk is linked below, and thanks for spending some time in the world of Intensely Fictitious. I'm Lee Baldwin, author of mystery and speculative fiction. I hope that in the fullness of time we will meet again.